Okay, we should be live. Hello everyone, how are we all doing? We are going to be discussing a certain scientific railgun. Because, if you didn't know already, the manga is coming to an end this month. So I thought, why not discuss it? But the future isn't all dark. As we are getting season 4. Maybe next year. I think it's going to be next year. It won't be this year. Item's going to come out this year. And then we will see if we get any news about it at the Anime Japan stage this month along with Item. We're definitely getting Item news, but it'd be nice to get something to do with Railgun as well. Why not do both at once? Who knows? Who's around in the chat? Who's around? I know Cam is. Hello, Cam. I think, anyway. Rip Saturn. Yeah, well, I hope they manage to integrate her in some shape or form. I don't know whether she would appear mental out. They can probably put her as a cameo, but it's hard to write Saturn into a story. But I do want to make a video about Saturn. But for that, I feel like I do need to rewatch the entirety of Season 1 of Railgun, which I probably need to do. Very soon, in fact, because the manga's ending, so it's definitely the time to rewatch Railgun, especially Season 1, because I feel like that's where Saturn's character is the most prominent. Especially the level up of her arc, but also the filler content. I mean, she doesn't get as much content in the manga, so all those anime original scenes and slice of life definitely adds to Saturn. I mean, not much to her character, but just her overall presence in Railgun, I should say. And then, yeah, again with Ueharu and Saturn, they don't really do an awful lot post level up her, with the exception of the arc that we're going to get, which is what's the name of it? Jailbreaker. Yes, of course. I can't believe I forgot Jailbreaker. Yeah, Jailbreaker, they actually have something to do with the main plot, while in the sisters arc, not really. The Saturn sniffing out the alleyways, which leads Misaka to, I guess, find out about what's going on in the alleyways in Academy City with the sisters project, I guess. And then Ueharu's helping a little bit, but none of them are involved in the main plot. And again, like Saturn's getting into trouble behind the scenes in the Daisei. Ueharu's helping out, kinda. It's the same thing. They don't really do much. And then Doppelganger arc, again, they don't really do much. But Jailbreaker arc, I'm not the biggest fan of Jailbreaker, but at least Saturn and Ueharu have something to do with the main plot. And I feel like that's the hardest part, because they are level 1 and level 0. Ueharu will always be support, but at least the main villain needs her. Well, I won't go into anything beyond that. Hey, Opinus! Hello! Stopped by to say you're handsome. Keep it in that gym. Oh, thank you. You're making me blush. No homo. Well, good to see you here. Have you tried a new McDonald's Big Arc burger? No, I have not. I don't know if it's in the UK. Is it in the UK as well? I don't know. I don't go to Mackey's often. It used to be cheap, but now Mackey's literally everywhere you go to eat out. Whether it's Weatherspoons. I mean, Weatherspoons is probably the cheapest place. But everywhere else, all the fast food chains, like I was tempted to get KFC at one point with my friend, and looking at KFC, like most of the fucking meals are like over a tenner. I'm like, what the fuck has happened? I remember back in my day, back when I was a kid, you get a bargain bucket for a tenner. Now you're paying tenner for a meal, or more. You pay like 14 quid for like a decent meal at KFC now. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Nah, fuck that. I'm going to my local chippy. Go to your local chippy. Still, you can get fish and chips for like 6 quid. I know that's still expensive, somewhat. It could be cheaper, but 6, 7 quid. Oh no, I said it. Yeah, there you go. Said the 6, 7. Go on, dead meme. But you get the point. But Americans don't have chippies. Well, I just see that. I'm like, what the fuck's the world economy coming to, or the UK economy? Well, I'm going to that. Obviously, not going into economies in the current affairs, etc. We're talking about Railgun, but still, I can rant about anything. To be fair here, hopefully you all are entertained. Oh yeah, you see my Shokuho figure? Oh, let me turn this way. Yep, my Shokuho. I'm not gonna move her. But yeah, you can see her. She's there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. There. Nice. I was really surprised to see her at my local collectibles shop. I was like, damn. They had 3 of them as well. It's crazy. Pleasant surprise. Tsuaru is still relevant in random shops. But the fact that there were 3 of them and didn't sell probably says a lot. I tried it and blew up my toilet. Nice. That's the stuff we want to hear. I got that figure. My cat took the head off. Damn. That sucks. You underestimate how popular Shoko is, lad. But if she was popular, the figures would have sold, though. There would have been 3 figures of her that didn't sell. But no, they had Amelia, they had ReZero stuff, they had popular series there, don't get me wrong. But they had some niche series like Toaru and some others that I can't remember. I was like, damn. This shop is legit. It's not just pure anime slop. But no, I do want to talk about Railgun rather than GT. I feel like I do talk about GT way too much. Or at least that's what critics tell me. But yeah, no, I think Misaka will appear in GT15. I'd be surprised if Misaka doesn't appear in any index volume, especially in GT. What I don't like about this is, though, I can't see how many viewers we got. Let's have a look. 28. That's not bad. Hey, that's pretty good. But to talk about Railgun, I have seen a mixed reaction to the manga being cancelled. I don't know if you guys have, let me know. But I've been active in the depths of the Toaru fandom on multiple social media pages. And yeah, no, you get the hardcore Railgun fans who are really upset and they're claiming the franchise is now dead because Toaru purely relies on Railgun, apparently. It doesn't rely on anything else. Just Railgun. Railgun's the moneymaker. I mean, it is the moneymaker, don't get me wrong, but the people who watch the anime compared to reading the manga is like night and day. But no, Railgun manga still sold well. Whenever I did bother to look at the sales for the Railgun manga, it was always doing really well for a 19-year-old series. Doing really well. So in that aspect, it was a shock, but no, we got season 4 coming out. I'm curious to see if season 4 will adapt the entire rest of the manga. I think it's doable now. Depends if they will be able to catch up, because I don't know what they've been working on, if they have been doing anything like the animators, JC staff. I don't know if they've started work on it. I think I'd read somewhere that they have started work on it, but I don't know if that source was reliable or not. Since you would have thought we would have got something about them working on Item already. I mean, they definitely are for Item, because we're going to definitely, well, I say definitely, but 80% sure we're going to get a trailer at the end of the month for Item at Anime Japan. I'll be very shocked if they don't show a trailer or a sneak peek. Especially because it's coming out this year and we got the entire voice cast going and we're going to see who is voicing Hanano. So, yeah, I'd be very shocked, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like Index is just going to keep going. The light novel's in a strong position. It's whether they're going to replace... I know saying replacing Railgun, I know it's going to trigger alarm bells in some people. Say, oh, how can you replace Railgun? It's the mainstay. And it does feel really weird that we won't have Railgun chapter updates. It does feel really bizarre. Because that's just been the norm for like all of our experiences as fans, unless you're like a super old OG like Malcolm, who somehow watched Index back in 2008, like the first series. Like that's not many of us. Let's just put it that way. I mean, you get someone like the OG Japanese fans who probably read Index from the very start, like the first volume in 2004. But I don't know how common they are. They're probably like the dinosaurs. They're probably extinct by now. Let's face it. So yeah, we've always had Railgun in our lives as Toaru fans. So it's going to be very strange not having it. But whether Mental Out can step up to the plate, I know people. I know people's like don't really talk about Mental Out often. I don't know why. Because Shokuho is a popular character. I'm not sure, because maybe it's because Mental Out started off kind of slowish. But even like the first fight in Mental Out, I don't mean like the first chapter fight. I mean like when they were fighting a few of those Esper girls. That was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It reminded me of a JoJo fight, and we're getting a lot of lore to do with like the film number one. And honestly, like the fight where I won't go into too much spoilers, but the fight where you got like the girl possessed by the cube against Kamino, that fight was really good. I was really impressed with Nogi's art style as well. I think he's improved like so much since Astral Buddy, and the fights in Astral Buddy were pretty decent as well. But that fight, I was reading it, obviously paying attention to the plot, but I was like, damn, this fight is actually really fucking good. I will talk about like some of the Railgun fights as well, because Railgun's fights have obviously been pretty good, but I think I enjoyed that fight more than the fights I read recently in Railgun. I don't know, maybe because it feels more fresh. It could be that. Could be because I'm clearly biased towards Shokuho, but Shokuho wasn't even fighting, so you can't use that argument against me. But but yeah, I don't know why. Like, I mean, to be fair, let me put it this way. So I haven't seen many people talking about the Railgun manga in recent times either. I think it's just a manga thing. I don't know, because I feel like the monthly chapters, you get less of a audience. But I just see way more people talking about Genesis Testament. Like whenever a new GT volume comes out, the Toaru fandom goes crazy, and people post the black and white spoiler images when they shouldn't. When as soon as it comes out, I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck are you doing? It's the volume's literally come out, and you're being such a chode going through the volume, like posting it, and even as the Japanese fans are actually reading it, who can read it straight away, while everyone else waits to get translated, and you get the chody fucking people just posting the black and white spoiler images. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? It ruins it for a lot of people, because like, why is that the first thing you do just for like some clicks or whatever? It's like, oh my god, Toma used the dragon in this volume, and it's like, bro, seriously, what the hell's your problem? But I'm glad the recent Genesis Testament black and white spoiler illustrations haven't been that egregious in terms of what happens in the volume. They've been a bit more vague, which I do appreciate, which stops like people from posting them a lot of the time. Still though, yeah, and despite Genesis Testament having a lot of critics, it's always been a controversial testament, to say the least. I guess that controversy also feeds into, perhaps that makes people talk about it more, but still, people talk about it way more than Item. I hardly ever see people talking about Item. Like, literally, like, Item Volume 6 came out, like, a few weeks ago. I read Chapter 1, I need to read the rest of it. Well, no one's talking about... I hardly ever see anyone talking about it on Twitter. I hardly see anyone talking about it on Discord, but Genesis Testament, everyone's talking about that. Same with, like, the Railgun thing. I feel like more people are talking about it now that they know, oh crap, the manga's coming to an end, so I better catch up, which I obviously went back to reread the latest arc and catch up where I did leave off from it. But yeah, same with Item and Mental Out. I think they deserve more attention, because I feel like people kind of read them for a bit and they're like, hasn't really progressed fast. I'm having to wait a month for the next thing, so I'm like, whatever, don't talk about it. But nah, if you guys haven't already, catch up to Mental Out, like, legit. It's super interesting. I am enjoying it. Items kind of fallen off for me a bit, but I haven't finished all of Volume 6, but I've heard a little bit about what it's leading on to for Volume 7, so we'll see. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're Gemini, correct? Yes, I am. My birthday is in May. Also, dude, I appreciate your coverage on the franchise. You are a godsend. Well, someone's got to do it. Like, this is, you know, the reason why I started doing this, because no one else was doing it apart from a certain reviewer, and a certain reviewer stopped doing it regularly. No one was making Toaru discussion videos, really. Not to have like a Toaru focused channel. And I just got fed up of waiting. Like I remember when I was like 17, no one was doing it apart from a certain reviewer, and I'd enjoy certain reviewers' videos from time to time when he did upload. Well, he really, I don't think a certain reviewer liked the volumes post the Office arc, and it kind of rubbed off on me, because I mean, I'm not saying all the volumes post Office arc are good, because obviously the Kamisato arc came after that, and as you guys probably know, I'm not a big fan of NT16. I think that volume is doo-doo. But like the Coronzon arc stuff, like I love that, and I don't think he was a big fan of that. I think he was just like, I want more New Testament 9. But he's, you know, everyone's entitled to an opinion about Toaru. Some people prefer Old Testament, some people prefer New Testament, so to each their own. But it just felt like he wasn't enjoying the series anymore, and I was like thinking, no, I kind of want to see a channel which celebrates the series. And as someone who had read all of the Toaru canon at that point, I literally was caught up on everything. I'm not at the moment, because I need to obviously do item and is that it now that I need to catch up on? Yeah, I think everything else is non-canon that I need to read, like the bogus Misuka Misaki thing that is absolute chore to read, and some other little bits that are non-canon. I need to reread some stuff as well, because it's been years since I've read some of it, and obviously my memory just goes away, so sometimes I do have to look at the wiki to remind myself, or go through certain points in volumes to be like, oh yeah, I remember that. So my memory is not the best, because yeah, it's literally been like 10 years since I read some of this stuff. Some of it sticks with you, some of it doesn't, but yeah. But beside the point, I wanted to see a channel that would obviously like make regular videos about Toaru, because it just does not exist. And the same applied now. Like I took, you know, a few breaks, and I was hoping, yeah, we got a few channels that make videos about Toaru, like Bot Under Repair, obviously Offinus, who else? Who else? Am I missing someone? Oh yeah, Light Novel Historian made a few shorts on it, which did really well. Well, apart from that, like, no one makes Toaru videos. No one makes a dedicated channel to it. And it always seemed bizarre to me. I guess because it's not mainstream, it's not, you know, uber popular, but at the same time, it's got so much content that you can make videos about. Like, literally, I've got lists. I've got a list of like channel, like video ideas. It's like nearly 100. It's over 100 ideas long. It's probably like 200, maybe 300 video ideas, and I'm like, damn, I could make Toaru content for like ever if I really wanted to. No joke. But you know, I went on hiatus multiple times. I wasn't uploading as much as I would want to for several reasons. Possibly burnout, life things. Probably just feeling shitty, just bad mental health and that. Having to try and sort out my life. Get a job which actually has promise, because obviously I work a full-time job. I don't just do this all the time. Having a more balance in my life, which I feel improves my mental health a lot. I'm able to spend time with family, friends, etc. So now I'm able to you know, devote more time to doing it. And now I'm finally getting back into a swing of making content again. Like, you guys seen, like, the past 2 weeks. Look how much content I'm doing, and I actually feel proud of the channel for once. It feels good. It feels like I'm proud of the channel again, because for a while I wasn't, because I feel like I wasn't doing enough. So yeah, now I got into the swing of things, and I really want to push onwards. I'm enjoying the build up to Item and Railgun 4. And yeah, it feels like I'm back to the beginning in a way, where I took a break and no one else took up the mantle. If anyone wants to take up the mantle, if anyone wants to make videos about Tsuwaru and can do it of a better quality than me, which isn't hard, by the way, I'm not the best editor. I'm literally sacrificing my editing massively to produce slop, because I just need to... I feel like I need to just upload videos, because there's no feasible way that I'm going to upload every single one of my video ideas with my previous strategy, which was not enough. So now I just need to pump out the content as much as possible if I can. Some videos require more research, etc. But yeah, I just want to get to a stage where I can make everything I want to make with the channel, and I feel like that'll be my dream and my achievement. And obviously, I would love to get to 100k subscribers. You guys have known that from the beginning. I feel like that's the benchmark of like a successful channel. I don't really care about anything after that. I feel like getting a Tsuwaru channel to 100k subscribers will be... Obviously, no one's done it before. Like, dedicated. I know I've made like videos that aren't Tsuwaru, but you get the point. So that's the goal. But I don't know how long that will take me. I'm already like 6 years into this shit. 6 years into this. And like, obviously I love doing it, but there's been times where obviously it's too much. But now I feel like I'm back on the horse, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to commit to it. So yeah, sorry for the big rant. What have people been saying? We had Korko doing reactions. Yeah, Korko. Korko's done really well for himself, and I know people say, you know, he probably say like, oh, glaze, etc. But no, just looking at it objectively, like, say what you want about reaction channels. Obviously, I do think I think reaction channels are, well, you guys know, you can say like reaction channels are low effort, etc. But I've done reactions. I think there's value in seeing another person react to something that you're familiar with and seeing them experience it for the first time, or seeing their perspective on it, which is why I'm doing the index episode reactions for channel members, because I can provide my perspective from a light novel reader point of view, which might help or might be interesting to some, rather than just anime only watching index for the first time. I don't know, that's bonus content for, you know, people who, you know, want to support the channel on that. Obviously, for normal videos, I'll make it available for people, for everyone. So, but yeah, no, about Korko. Yeah, no, he's done well. Like, just the volume of content he uploads is ridiculous. It's insane. He is the definition of... I'm not saying his videos are low quality, because they're not, but he is the definition of quantity. Like, just getting a video out there, like, video after video, like 3 videos a day, if not more. It's like, what the fuck? And yeah, obviously doing like stuff on Twitch as well. It's actually mad. And from that, he has turned it into a sustainable business where like people go on the Patreon, and he definitely made it like wow. But just well, the amount of time he has to spend on that, if he doesn't have an editor, I think he probably does, but still, like, that's like full-time job. Like, I don't think doing it that much is healthy. I feel like you do need to have a balance in life. But fair play to him. And obviously, like, some people will watch his index reactions and then get into it, or Railgun, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think that might be limited though, because obviously his channel is one where he reacts to like a load of different anime, and not everyone's going to watch the same videos. They're not going to watch like all of his reactions. They're going to pick ones like selectively, but still, I'm like, damn. And seeing his formula kind of made me think, maybe I am spending like way too much time doing my editing, which isn't that good to begin with. Maybe I should just focus on getting the video out there and focus on the quantity element of YouTube, which I think I am implementing now. And I'm definitely seeing the rewards, because like there is definitely an interest in Railgun at the moment, because the manga's getting cancelled. Ironically, there's definitely an interest in Railgun videos right now. So I'll try ride that wave, and then obviously we got that, and at the same time we've had the item stuff, and I hope the item stuff picks up, because I feel like there isn't as much interest in the item stuff, but I feel like that will change once we get the trailer. But I feel like people need to familiarize themselves with item and realize what item actually is as a series, which will then increase interest level in it. At least that's my theory. But yeah. Also, his understanding of Tsuruo from an anime-only perspective is really good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't watch all his videos. I watched a select few, so I can't really comment on everything about his perspectives, but yeah, it's good that, you know, pays attention and that. Hey Aeon, where do you read Mental Out? Well, listen, there's the Japanese raw versions you can buy, obviously, but I'm giving you the what do you call it, the legal answer. If you want to be a pirate, I'm sure there are ways to find a fan translation somewhere using the power of Google, etc. It's not hard to be a pirate on the seven seas, let's just put it that way. But I don't encourage, well, obviously I have to make, as a content creator, I have to remain politically neutral. If you get a gist. But at the same time, I feel like the official publishing companies, I don't know, I feel like they could do more with Tsuruo. But to be fair, like the pirated series do get people into it, and then from that they do buy like the official versions. But to be fair, we do need an official English translation in the West for Mental Out. Hopefully Seven Seas gets on that now that they've been taken over by a new firm. So I heard. But yeah, just use the power of Google in the Seven Seas, and you will find it somewhere, I'm sure. Or join a Discord server like Kamachi Land, etc. Mental Out is Railgun 2.0, so it'll be fine. Yeah, it is. In some regard, yeah. But yeah, I would like to see a new spin-off where it's not like Toki Wadai, because I feel like when Mental Out came out, it came out at probably a bad time in a way, because the first year arc was also like starting, and it was also about Toki Wadai cliques, and the Mental Out manga is about like the clique elections in Toki Wadai. Obviously the different time points, like Mental Out is set in like Old Testament 16 time, post Astral Buddy. It happens after Astral Buddy. But the first year arc obviously is first year, so it's 1 year before like the main timeline. But at the same time, both of them were about cliques in Toki Wadai, and there were literally times where I was reading both at the same time, because I was trying to read both at the same time like a psychopath. There were literally times where I was thinking like, oh my god, I literally they were literally blurring together for me, because it was like they both introduced like quite a lot new characters. Railgun a lot more, but Mental Out still introduced quite a few new characters, and it's like, wow, these are just blending together for me. I'm like, which cliques, which girls this member of this clique and that, and like, there's that many fucking clique members. It's like, holy fuck. Like, is this all we're focusing on in Tsuruo now? Like for the spin-offs, it's all just fucking Toki Wadai. How about we explore like a different school, like Nagatenjoki? Because literally we know jack shit about Nagata and Joki apart from like Nonotaba Shinobu is a student there. It's one of it's like the best school in Academy City. It's like the top 3 with Tokiwadai. And Accelerator was a student there by proxy. That was like his official school that he went to, but he didn't actually go there. That was just like on Academy City's bank. We know literally shit about Nagata and Joki. Why can't we have like a spin-off about that? No, we're gonna have more Tokiwadai. It's absolute horseshit, I tell you. Just Tokiwadai. How many stories, how many bloody like catastrophes can we have in Tokiwadai? And literally, what the actual fuck is Ezali's grandma, Unabura's grandma doing? Like, because she's the member of the board of directors and she's like the principal or the chairwoman of Tokiwadai. Like, what the hell is she doing? Is she just facilitating all this shit? Like, because the amount of the clique wars are encouraged. They're literally encouraged to like fight each other. And it just seems like a strange environment for a school. And ironically, we just get a load of stuff for the students and we don't know anything about the teachers at Tokiwadai. We know like nothing about the teachers apart from the dorm mistress. And she's not even a proper teacher. She just manages a dorm. You think we'd get a bit more on the teachers, but nah. The teachers are never seen. The teachers might as well don't exist. I think there's like one maybe who gets a cameo, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember seeing like hardly any teachers at all in Tokiwadai in like the 2 arcs we've gotten. And not just that, we also got like the bloody 15th anniversary side story, like the Misaka one, because there was the collection of side stories for that 15th anniversary volume, and we had like another like uprising Tokiwadai where that princess from Eastern Europe tried to take over, and it was like, well, okay, what the hell? That side story was a load of crack to me. and yet the teachers are just nowhere to be seen. Like, what the hell did the teachers do at Tokiwadai? Did he even have teachers? What the fuck did they even learn? Apparently they learned about like, you know, top tier education and shit to get like really good jobs, but no, I don't know. Am I overthinking this shit? Am I overthinking this? Because yeah, it just seems like for a school element, it just focuses solely on the students, and I get it. The students are the main bulk, but like, what do the teachers think of all the catastrophes and uprisings and clique battles? They're just like, let's just watch. Oh, they're at it again. these girls, you know, they're just gonna get hospitalized. Heaven Chancellor has some more patients to deal with. Like, I don't know, guys. It just seems a bit over the top, but still, I am enjoying Mental Out. If you just don't think about that side of it, but oh my god, guys, like I am looking forward to doing a video. Like, I'll be doing a video on the first year arc. I'll be doing a comprehensive review. I have made a considerable amount of notes for it as I reread it, and there's just a lot in that arc which is just oh my god. I have a lot to say about that arc. I'm not gonna go review it now, but there's just so many things where I'm just like, why did this need to get explained? Why did this happen? Oh god, yeah. The first year arc is just I know what to make of it because I've literally thought about it, but it's hard describing it while I'm not trying to go into details because obviously I want to wait until my review. But still, it's like, apparently this first year arc was planned for a while according to the editor of the Railgun manga, but it just, I don't know how to believe that. Maybe it was, and it was just planned really badly. Maybe it was just planned by like Kamachi was like, yeah, how about we do like a first year arc in Tokiwadai and just, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Small sneak peek. Oh, I don't. Well, I will say this about the first year arc. It is laughable how many small details in Railgun and Index that get an origin story. It is laughable. It's just some of the like minor details just get an origin story. Minor details. It's just like, why did this need? Why? It just seems excessive because it's not just like one or two things that. Oh yeah, by the way, this is why this happened, or this is why this is the case. It's just like one little strange detail after another. It's like, why the fuck did we need to have an origin story for this? Or like have this explained? Like, it's like show don't tell doesn't mean anything. It's like, let's tell everything. Why does Misuka kick the vending machine? Why? How did she discover her railgun? Oh, by the way, did you know that Kuroko's dad's company designed the Toki Wadai uniform? And yet she doesn't know, like, what kind of school Toki Wadai is? And yet her dad's company designed the uniform? Like, what the fuck is this? Genuinely. I know that's just 3. There's probably like around 10 of these little small details that get a random origin story, and it's like, why the fuck do we need to know? Or why does Kuroko's dad's company design a Tokiwada uniform? Like, why? It just seems strange. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I don't know. Well, you actually quite like these small details. Yeah, but I get the point. But I like small details too. But when it's like when it's a prequel arc, you know everything that's going to happen basically. Or you know how it ends. You know what it will end with basically. You know Kuroko is going to become Misuka's flatmate. Or roommate, sorry. You know Shokuho is going to get the biggest clique in Tokiwadai. You know how the first year arc's going to end, basically. Excuse me. But with a prequel, you got to remember, guys, with a prequel, you got to think, does this add significant value? Is it worth its existence? Is it worth existing? Is this backstory worth telling? You get me? For example, you have Star Wars and you have the prequels. I would argue that the prequels add significant depth to Anakin Skywalker's character, where he becomes like a more of a tragic hero. And it's kind of poetic that he was the chosen one. They think he's like, oh, it must have been misled. And then he ends up killing the Emperor and bringing balance to the Force. And you get to see Obi-Wan and Anakin's relationship when you didn't get that, etc. I would say that adds significant value to like Star Wars as a thematic whole. Especially when you draw the parallels between Luke and Anakin and their stories. But can you say the same thing about the first year arc? Like, what thematic depth can you say that the first year arc adds to Misuka's character? Or Shoko's character? What I'm trying to say, do any of these like little small details actually fucking matter? Do I need to know how Misuka learned how to kick a fucking vending machine? I mean, seeing her do the first railgun, okay. That's interesting, I guess. But I have more to say on that, but I'll save it for the video, because I feel like some things don't add up with that. But I'll wait for that for the video. But okay, yeah, seeing her do the first, how she learned the railgun, that's somewhat, you know, adds something. But Is that it? It's just mundane stuff like that. And I don't want to have to go through my whole list to remember what else, because I wrote a list down so I don't forget. But what I'm trying to say is the prequel worth it, or is it just, you know, just there for the sake of it? Because sometimes it's hard to do a prequel because, like I said, you know what's going to happen. And I feel like this is also the problem with Item, the Item not light novel. Like, I really enjoyed the first volume. I feel like it added a lot to the Item girls. The first volume is really good, great fights. I feel like that volume did add stuff, and volume 2 of Item, yes, that also added things with learning about, like, well, I won't go into spoilers obviously, but basically the scientists who developed Mugano's powers and Mugano's overall importance in Academy City. I feel like that added value. And you could say aspects of Mugano's family also add value, because yes, you get to see a bit of Mugano's family, or a lot in one particular volume. But you as you're reading it, you know, like, oh well, you know how things end up, and I guess Item does explore the theme of betrayal, and as you know, yes, Frenda betrays Item whether she willingly did or not, and yes, it's trying to flesh out that theme. I know what Item is trying to do. That's what Item is trying to do as a prequel. It's trying to flesh out the whole betrayal aspect of Battle Royale. But there are times where I'm reading it and I'm thinking, yeah, this is pretty safe. I know, like, this situation or these characters don't really matter that are new. I don't feel like I'm going to be like hugely surprised a lot of the time, like I would in Genesis Testament, for example, because I don't know what's going to happen. Well, yeah, I feel like Item is a better prequel than First Year Arc, but at the same time, I'm like, aspects of it still apply where it's like, you know, it doesn't hit as hard, if you get what I'm trying to say. The Han Solo prequel reiterates what we already knew about Han, and that he secretly does care and he isn't there for story. Doesn't. Yeah, exactly. And I made that comparison. Like, I made that comparison in one of my early Railgun videos where I was talking about the First Year Arc. I made a comparison where it felt like stuff that we were learning about Misaka for the first time. It felt like the whole, the Imperial officer where he's like, oh, you're on your own. Are you? You're signing up to the Imperial Army. You don't have a last name. You are Han Solo. Like, it felt like it felt like that moment from like Solo, a Star Wars story. It did. Which, yeah, exactly. That reiterates my point perfectly. It feels like you're Han Solo. Like, did we need to know that? Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Sometimes it's better just to not have it explained. Sometimes it's better just to have it as a mystery. Hearing you say all that makes you feel really bad about the manga ending with that arc. Yeah, I mean, it's not all bad. I don't want to, like, crucify it. I do think it's probably the weakest Railgun arc, but it does have some good elements to it, don't get me wrong. Some of the abilities are really cool. Some of the fights are nice. There are some little nice character moments here and there, but they're not anything substantial, because it's not like you can drastically give them like a shit ton of character development, because yes, it is a prequel. So yeah. But the thing is with the First Year Arc, it is by far the longest Railgun arc. I can't remember how much it is longer in comparison, because you get the weird like 0.2 chapters as well. You get like the weird like decimal point chapters as well as the actual numbered chapters, excuse me. But that's also a reason, like, it feels like it goes on way longer than it needed to. It does feel like, oh, yes, let's watch these clique members fight when we don't really care about any of these new characters, because you introduce... It was like the same problem with the Kamisato arc, where you introduce like a shit ton of new characters that you don't really care about, and don't really have any character to them. It's like, oh, okay. But I feel like the Battle Royale type volumes in Index that you get, like the Battle Royale arc, you get the Bagger City arc, and you get Operation Handcuffs, I feel like they introduced a lot of new characters. Like each iteration, you get a Battle Royale type volume. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like in terms of presentation and execution, they deal with that concept better because it feels like a Quentin Tarantino movie where the characters are just out for blood and you get the quirky personalities and you get the dynamics. They have more soul to them and you get that edgy aspect. It's kind of like the Rule of Cool. I feel like the Battle Royale type volumes handle introducing a shit ton of characters at once way better, and they stand the test of time. And Kamachi does like explores different concepts with the fact that, oh, let's see these new characters with like these quirky aspects to them, like murder each other and get into these crazy dark side scenarios. I feel like that's way more interesting as a concept than having like the big cliques where they're just like, they simp for like one girl who's the leader and they're like, yes, we will do anything you ask, or yes, we will follow you because we really like your power and we hope you reduce our body fat or give us like massive tits. It's like, that's unironically one of the motives of the cliques in the first year arc. Unironically, it is the Mikigami clique. Or Mikagami clique, I should say. So you get like the shit on the characters like that rather than the interesting dark side dynamics. So that's how I would defend the dark side arcs compared to like Kamisato arc. They all fucking simp for Kamisato. They all want his dick. They all just have generic personalities apart from Salome and Fran maybe. So that's how I would differentiate that compared to the dark side arcs where they have unique personalities and different motives and they clash. That's how to write a shit ton of new characters at the same time. There you go. I am ranting a lot lately. Holy crap. I can rant about Index for fun. Ooh. I'm not used to ranting this much. Which is now why I need some water. Wow. How long am I streaming for? I don't know. I don't know. 48 minutes. Cool. So let's read a bit of chat because I've just been ranting this entire time, so I might as well read a bit of chat that I have missed. I think Railgun should have continued being the soft intro for the science side characters, like how Mental Out gave us Yuitsu Kihara and Kiara Noken. Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, it is. I do like the fact that Mental Out does give us more Yuitsu. Because we get to see what she was like before the whole Kamisato situation. Can we say Mugano's spin-off is the best one? Well, we'll have to wait until it's finished. I feel like that applies to a lot. Like, I feel like... I mean, I should make a video where I rank like the Toraru spin-offs, but I feel like it helps having a complete series. So now we can like compare Railgun to like Astral Buddy and Dark Matter, but people will say, oh, you can't compare them because they're different in length, etc. Yo, is that Bond to Repair? I think that's his channel icon. I can't see the full username here, but let me press this. Yeah, it is. Hey, Bond to Repair. Nice to see you here. I haven't read the latest Railgun arc. Is it any good? Yeah, I was just talking about that. I'm making a review of it, so you will see. But it's not my favorite. I think it's one of the weakest Railgun arcs, to be honest with you. As I was saying before, it's the longest. It's the longest by a considerable margin. And yeah, there are... It's just unnecessary because it's a prequel, and it's a prequel that doesn't add significant value to the series, in my opinion. If you're going to do a prequel, it needs to add substance to it, I feel. Otherwise, it's just like redundant. It's like, why does this exist? We didn't need to know all this. Which I feel like it does fall into that category, unfortunately. But that's not to say it doesn't have some good moments to it. it does have some decent parts. But yeah, people say like, oh, you can't compare Railgun to Index. You can't compare Railgun to anything. It's like, why not? I get that Railgun is a spin-off of Index and is subservient to it. But surely that would suggest that Index is inherently superior because it is the main series, but they would argue otherwise. And the fact that Railgun is like the same length anime-wise, and like when you put it next to Index, because they both had 3 seasons so far, and yes, Railgun's getting the 4th season, so it does put it at an unfair advantage now, ironically, despite it being a spin-off. So I think the comparison is natural for people to compare Index to Railgun, especially on the anime side of things. But if you do want to be like, yeah, it is a spin-off, so no comparison, you can't compare it, then fair enough. But I feel like you can compare elements of it, but they are pretty different in terms of how they're structured. But I don't know, let me know what you guys think about that. I think it's natural to compare entries in a Toaru series. It's like how people compare Fate Zero to Fate Stay Night, like, all the time. Unless you want to be, like, pedantic about it and say, oh, well, Fate Zero is a prequel, so you can't compare it to Fate Stay Night. It says, Fate Stay Night is a visual novel with 3 roots, and Fate Zero was, like, originally a light novel. It's like, okay, yeah, if you want to be really pedantic about things, why not just compare them as, like, series? I'm not saying they are on equal footing, but you can still compare, like, the story of them, like, or elements of them. Why not? I don't know. Yeah, but my point is, like, if you look at the Railgun manga now, it's getting a conclusion, so now you can say, oh, it's a finished article now, so now you can compare it to Dark Matter and Astral Buddy, but obviously Dark Matter and Astral Buddy are way shorter. But that also has its merits, because you're not going through a lot of slog, because sometimes when a series go on for too long, you get they drag on a bit. But Dark Matter from start to finish, like, 1 volume, but it's like, wow, I would like to see more, but as a single volume, Dark Matter was absolutely incredible, and it added, like, significant value to Kakina as a character. Like, Dark Matter manga makes Kakina a way better character. Like, legit. That's what I'm talking about when you make a prequel that adds significant value. It justifies its existence. And the Dark Matter manga definitely does that. Because let's face it, before that, Kakina's motivation was, like, a bit iffy. We didn't know enough about him. He was like, he wants a meeting with Alistair. He doesn't like Accelerator because he's number 1. He wants to be top ranked, or he wants to negotiate with Alistair to break out the rules of Academy City. People have different interpretations about that, but overall, he wants to be of greatest status or break out the level status. He wants to be above the level system. He just wants to be, like, number 1 and then some. But then we think, oh, why is he like that? And why does he have such a grudge against Accelerator? But then we find out that we that line where he's like, oh, you're just as bad as me, you're just as much as a villain as me. We find out why he thinks like that. We find out why his backstory made him feel that way, and how he feels like he's unable to save people, so he became more of a villain. But yeah, and also Astral Buddy's really good as well. It's not the best. Astral Buddy, it was definitely, I feel like Astral Buddy's definitely the most underrated Toaru spin-off. It's definitely a solid series, but I feel like it doesn't have, like, the deep themes of, like, you get in, like, Index. Index has a lot of deep themes, but Astral Buddy, yeah, it has some sentimental moments. It has cool fights. It adds to Mitsuari Ayu's character, for sure. Ayu is definitely a better character with Astral Buddy. But it's not like a masterpiece. You get me? It's not like super deep story or anything like that. But it is a fun, engaging story that is definitely worth a read. Index is more grand in overall plot. Yeah, and that's why I love Index. I just love it. There's just so many things you can discuss about Index. It's just crazy. There's so much to the lore, so much to the science side, the magic side, how they interconnect. It's just so fascinating. So fascinating. It's really cool. How many possible seasons do you think are left in the Railgun anime? Well, I mean, the first year arc is really long, so I don't know whether they're gonna adapt all of it now that it is finished. I hope they do. Unless they do want to drag it on to another season after this, or they want to adapt like some of the Railgun bonus material, because there are, you know, multiple stories outside the manga, like the side story light novels, which aren't all great. The first one's okay, the rest are kind of like iffy. Ironically, the first one also explores a lot of magic side as well, which is down to go down a treat with Railgun fans who don't like magic. But yeah, I don't know if they would need more episodes to do both, like the Jailbreaker arc and the first year arc, but they probably would do. But at least that makes it last longer. But yeah, it would feel strange, like, having Railgun Season 4, then be like, oh, that's it. I don't know. I just want the content stream to continue. Mainly because I'm biased, because I'm a YouTuber who talks about this, but yeah. I have talked so much. It's crazy. I love talking. Talk. Boobs jokes in Railgun are the worst? What do you mean? They are peak. I mean, you know, like, Railgun and Index OG anime when they make boob jokes. Can't get away with that nowadays. Can't get away with that. The Twitter mob would be after you. All the tourists. Although I think tourist as a term is kind of cringe. I don't like buzzwords generally. Buzzwords kind of suck, but I feel like you generalize people as well when you say tourist. Because everyone has to start off with a new series at some point in their lives. Like, I've literally got like a shit ton of anime on my anime list that I haven't watched. That I'll have to watch eventually. And it's like, oh, you discover a series and you become a fan of it? Oh, well, you're not as much of a fan as me. Haha. It does feel a bit gatekeepy. But as long as they, you know, respect like the fandom and that. Because, you know, fandoms are super serious stuff, you know. But no, you know what I mean? Like, if you like catch up a series and you're like, I've seen it on Twitter on like the Toaru fandom a couple times or a few times where they're like, they're like new fans who catch up on Toaru and they're like, wow, well, if you like fan service in Toaru, then you are XYZ, and it's like, you're literally watching it. It's like, you're literally consuming that material. You're literally consuming the fan service. It's like, oh, well, I don't like the scenes. I skip them. It's like, yeah, well, listen, I'm not a huge fan of the fan service in Toaru either. There's times where I'm watching Index, I'm like, does it really need that? But I'm not like, I'm an OG anime fan. I've been an anime fan. Well, I watched Yu-Gi-Oh!, Naruto as a kid when I was really young. But I got super into anime like 10 years ago. Back in like, was it 2016? Oh, no, was it 2014? No, 2014. Yeah, I was, yeah. 2014. When I was 16. So literally 12 years. And we just watched anime back then. But now it's like, oh, well, this is problematic media. And then you literally get like, oh, well, I watch it, but I don't like it. It's like, it's the people who make a fuss about it that I don't like. People make a fuss about it. They're just morally virtue signaling to feign like they are good people or above it. They like to say, oh, well, I am above this fan service ridden series. I just watch it for the plot. It's like it's unironically the same kind of argument as if, oh, well, I watch hentai, but I skip all the hentai scenes and I only watch the conversation scenes because, you know, it's literally that. It's literally, oh, well, I watch hentai, but I don't like the hentai scenes. I just watch it for the actual plot. It's like, bro. It's unironically the same argument as that. Literally is. It's just a more toned down version of it. Which shows how ridiculous it is. You're literally consuming that content. So none of that bullshit. Anyway. What else are people saying? Do you think Misaka and the other three main railgun will still be relevant in index side? Saturn, probably not. Kuroko and Misaka are, like, Kuroko had a volume, well, almost an entire volume dedicated to her with GT3, which is the first, like, main Kuroko volume in index we've had, like, since OT8, which is crazy. Ueharu can pop up every now and then. But yeah. Would be nice to get more though. As long as they actually do stuff to their characters, like Misaka. I have been disappointed with Misaka and Shoko's character in GT, not gonna lie, because it just feels like they just don't progress at all. You know, Shoko's character progressed a lot towards the end of New Testament, but yeah, Genesis Testament just feels like, oh, let's develop Toma as much as possible and Alistair and some other characters, but everyone else, like, nah. And style gets development. But Misaka and Shoko just do not develop at all in GT, which is a shame. But at the same time, like, not every character needs to develop to be engaging, interesting, etc. Aeon, since you mentioned Mal before, are you still active on it? The fine active, like, if I'm watching like anime, I'll update it, but I don't go on it often at all. I rarely go on it, but I rarely watch anime. Like the last anime I was watching, I was watching Initial D, ironically. So I need to watch the rest of Initial D. I think I watched up to 3rd stage, which is the movie. So I need to start the 4th stage. But I will be watching JoJo Part 7 for sure. I'm looking forward to that. I have not read the manga for JoJo Part 7, so I did for Part 6. But yeah. Kamachi has no idea what to do with Misaka's character, let's be honest. Well, you know, it was the easiest character progression you could have done, because if you read New Testament 15, that is a route to go down. That is actually interesting. I was like, oh my god, I love this direction for Misaka as a character. And then he does nothing with it. He's just like, nah. Well, I do remember, like, when that volume came out, like, some people were complaining that, oh, Misaka's not cute anymore, unironically. Misaka's not acting kawaii enough anymore. It's like, what the fuck? Like, shit like that just bugs me. It's like, what? So that would have been an option. Maybe there's still hope. I can't remember if we did get I think we did get an inkling of something that, like, Misaka could progress into. I can't remember what volume was it. Was it a recent volume that we had, like, a line of Misaka where it was a bit promising? Potential queen is potential. Yeah, Misaka is potential queen. But yeah, I think there was a line recently where it was hinting, oh well, maybe she could go back there, but I highly doubt it. I think Misaka and Shoko are kind of stuck, as if they develop their characters. And Misaka, for example, is no longer tsundere. People will get angry. Yeah, I feel like that's what happened with New Testament 15. But I found it so interesting. I was like, damn, Misaka's going down like a similar path to Accelerator in terms of like being power hungry. This is super fucking interesting. Can we have Misaka as like the more of a well-written Sasuke Uchiha, maybe? Who's, I need more power. Not for revenge, but obviously to try and exist alongside Toma in Toma's world. But a darker, more edgy Misaka story could be super interesting. But no, we were robbed. But nevertheless, the argument that Toma is a flat character and is boring or is generic, like, whenever I see that, like, from an anime only, I'm like, you have... ignorance is bliss. But the ironic thing is, like, I thought that as well when I first watched the anime, but I can still understand, like, I can still understand people reading Old Testament maybe and be like, yeah, you know, at times when I first read Old Testament, I was like, yeah, Toma's character's good, but I would like to see more development from him. I would like to see a bit more. Then I read New Testament, and I was like, oh my god. But at the same time, New Testament, but Toma's character was still subtle. It wasn't as egregious. It wasn't as big as Accelerator's development, which I liked. The core of Toma remained the same, but there were subtle differences you could pick up where he's like, Toma's a bit different. But Genesis Testament is like, let's get Toma's character and let's just have him progress significantly. Like, wow. Toma develops a lot in Genesis Testament, and he still feels like Toma, which is the great thing. Kamachi's done a superb job with his Toma's character. You can say what you want about Genesis Testament, about the writing decisions. You can say what you want about good old Mary's bullshit revival magic. You can say what you want about that. You can say about what you want about certain decisions, but I will not have anyone argue that Toma's character in Genesis Testament is fucking amazing, because what Kamachi's done with him is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I just can't wait to see more. I need more of Toma's character, but at the same time, it's to the detriment of other characters, because I would like to see other characters get a kind of treatment. Like, do the same with Toma, but also do the same with, like, Misaka and Shoko. Why not? Why not? But yeah, Toma, no, like, I don't want to go too into spoilers for people who haven't read Genesis Testament, but, you know, the fact that people say Toma's is goody two-shoes, generic, that no longer applies. Toma is, like, like, the decisions he makes, Old Testament Toma would never do, like, legit. Some of the things he does are just, like, straight up, like, I can't believe Toma is doing this or has done this, like, where Toma was willing to save Fuyama. Toma was literally willing to save the guy who started World War III, was willing to, like, mass murder, like, Europe, like, the entirety of Europe and Asia, all to try and, like, cleanse the world for, like, some perverted, like, totalitarian plan of world domination. Toma was like, yeah, okay, yeah. Let's give you the escape pod. Let's give you the last escape pod. Like, what? But Old Testament Toma does not save everyone. Old Testament Toma's, you know, Old Testament Toma thinks about himself a lot. Old Testament Toma, no, sorry, not Old Testament Toma. Genesis Testament Toma thinks about himself a lot. Genesis Testament Toma is kind of selfish and kind of a prick at times. Just saying. Ueharu literally MVP of Railgun's entire run. Yeah, I mean, she definitely helps out. Yeah, sorry, guys. Yeah, I meant GT Toma. I was just talking about Old Testament so much that I meant Genesis Testament. Yeah. Yeah, obviously Old Testament Toma is really selfless. He's selfless on borderline obsession and insanity, which is the point, because it's like he is the moral representation of good. He's trying to be a perfect person. Well, by trying to be a perfect person, he's imperfect, and he is doing way too much and being way too obsessive. Which is the point of Toma's character. He is a good moral compass, but the way he takes it way too far, which is why the Office arc is important, because it's like that exposes how ridiculous Toma's philosophy was in trying to be this new perfect person after he lost his memories. He's just like way too far. Savior complex and then some. Huge savior complex. But now I feel like Toma's true will is developing into more so what he was pre-memory loss. He's no longer being like this like absolute saint level person. I don't mean in terms of like saint as in like Kanzaki Naku. I mean like saint as in like doing like good Samaritan deeds above 1,000 and punching people while doing good Samaritan deeds, you know, risking his life to save the world constantly and trying to taunt no jutsu bad people, putting his neck on the line, which, you know, normal people can act as heroes and try and save someone if they're in danger. You know, you hear about stories like that on the news, people in emergency services or random members of the public who intervene, etc. But Toma is that and then some. Like, he's that times 1,000. The situations he gets into is like, bro, do you not have any fear? Obviously, he does have fear, but you get the point. He continues on anyway. He doesn't give a fuck. Well, he gives a fuck, but you get what I'm trying to say. He goes above and beyond the norm. This is why I like Railgun more than Index. I like both generally, but Index story feels a lot fast, and all of a sudden the fight scenes seem the same. Usually in the third season. And unnecessary. I got a hard disagree on that. But I don't know if you read a light novel. Like, if you watch the anime, then I can probably understand that. But if you want to look at, okay, let's break this down. I'm not trying to like say, oh well, you're obviously wrong because I know way more than you. Like mustache twirling villain that I am, being a horrible YouTuber. But I will offer you a different perspective. Because yeah. Index story being fast, that definitely applies to Index Season 3 because they were literally... Index Season 3, they were literally rushing... How many volumes was it? Is it 8 volumes, guys? Yeah, OT 14 to OT 22. They were literally rushing like 8 volumes in 26 episodes when it should have had 36 minimum. It should have had 36 episodes for that. For example, you had like 6 volumes adapted in Season 1, and that was only 24. And you got like 2 more volumes on top of that. With 2 more episodes, it's like nowhere near enough. So that's why it probably felt fast, because they were literally rushing through everything. They weren't explaining things properly. They weren't. Yeah, the presentation was terrible for Index 3, and Index 3 is the worst rated season of Index on Mal for a reason. But ironically, like that patch of Index, that stretch from OT 14 to OT 22, that is peak Index. That and the Office arc and the Coronzon arc, that is like literally peak Index, and they just rush through it, and it doesn't, you know, it's hard for anime onlys to understand what the hell's going on. And honestly, it's not your fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's literally the anime's fault. And the director of Index, Nishikiori, was like begging for more episodes, and he only got 2 more. He literally wanted more episodes. So it's the fact that it's hard to understand and going way too quick. That is the anime's fault. So it's not. But if you read like the Index light novels are really slow paced. A lot of them are, especially like the first 13, like the volumes before what happens in Index season 3. Some of the pacing in those volumes are like pretty slow. Those are what I refer to as the build-up volumes. That they have a slower pace. I mean, they have like fights towards the end, but you really have to like sit down, pay attention, and like read. They're not for like TikTok, Zoomer, like short attention span, or Gen Z, like whatever. But like, you know what I'm talking about, like the TikTok brain rot generation. You do have to like you do have to invest in Index, but once you get past that and to like the God's Right Seat arc series of volumes, which is season 3 onwards, that they were easier for me to consume, at least, and flow better. But the fight's feeling all the same. Okay, let's look at this. So the fights against Terra, you got Itsua Termet versus Terra, and that's like you see how his power interacts with the environment, because he can change like precedence from higher to lower. He can make his literal flower stronger or like than whatever he's fighting against, or he can make other like weapons or abilities weaker than whatever he's using. That he can do that on his skin, etc. So it's like the power dynamic between that, and it's kind of like a JoJo fight in a way, because they have to use like strategy to try and get around Terra's ability, which is limited, but it's pretty strong ability. Then you get Mugano versus Hamazura. Hamazura again using tactics to defeat Mugano as a level 0. You can say what you want about Hamazura bullshitting his way to win, but whatever. Then you got Accelerator versus Kina. That fight, it's hype for like number 1 versus number 2, but there isn't a whole lot of tactics to it. It's just Accelerator has to like adapt to it. The scale of it and the stakes are pretty interesting. But Kakina does like he's talking way too much. He's just literally explaining his power to the audience, and that is one negative side of that fight. Even though, yes, guys, it's a cool fight, but Kakina's just talking way too much. He's like, yes, my dark matter is a system outside the universe, and it has it other laws which bypass your vector manipulation. Ha ha ha. It's like, Kakina, just shut up. I get why Kamachi's doing it, because we need to know how dark matter works, but for the sake of like in universe, it's like, Kakina, what are you doing? You're literally explaining to Accelerator how your power works. But then after that, you get like Aqua versus Kanzaki and like the Imakusa. Like Aqua, that's a sort of high octane fight. Like literally, when you read that fight and Aqua's fight against Night Leader, that's like the fights you get like in Fate Stay Night, the Servant fights, but it's just so fast paced, like boom, 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 boom. And that's how it should have been in the anime. It's like a Jujutsu Kaisen fight. It's like so much shit going on. It's like, holy fuck, this is awesome. It's not like a slow paced Toma fight where Toma's trying to use his tactics. It's literally like the Saints trying to one up each other. It's like, oh, Kanzaki's get so overpowered because Aqua's so much stronger with God's Right Seat powers and the Saint powers. Then the Imakusa have to come in together and then try work as a team. And because Kanzaki was like, oh, you know, I'm way stronger than the Imakusa. I don't need the Imakusa to help out. This is the reason why I left the Imakusa. But the Imakusa are like, she try to help her, and they're like, she learns to accept the power of them, because as a group they are stronger. She learns to rely on the strength of the Imakusa, even though they are much weaker than her. But as a collective, she sees the value in that. And Aqua's like, oh, why do you rely on these little pathetic magicians who don't have saint powers like me, because I'm a Chad? But that fight was so cool, and that's a completely different fight to the Terror fight, and that's a completely different fight to the Accelerated Kina fight. And then you got Aqua versus Night Leader, similar fight. It's like they've gone through the fucking woods and that. They got the different shining parts of Aqua's swords, like take out the dragon, and got Night Leader's return to zero Nisuru, like nullifying like Aqua's different parts of Aqua's sword, so he has to use different parts of the sword to try and like beat Night Leader, and then he uses a surprise attack in the end. He uses the hidden sword of Ascalon. Bro, that's so fucking hype. That's one of the best fights in the series. But again, the anime just makes it look like absolute dog shit. They don't even bother to make the color, like, they don't even bother to give the distinct parts of the sword the correct color. You know literally nothing about Aqua's sword in the anime. Literally doesn't exist. The PSP game does a better job at fucking making Aqua's sword proper than the anime, which says a lot. But I won't go through every part of Index 3, but this is what you're missing out on in the light novel, by the way. If you guys haven't read the light novel, this is the stuff you're missing out on. And this is why my channel is dedicated to try and get people to read the novel. Because it's so much better than the anime. So much better. I digress. Oh, I don't know. Sorry, Red Mouse. I wish I had time to read the Terror volumes. I have short attention span, though. Yeah, well, I understand that. I don't mean to dig people for like being if you're like a TikTok enjoyer or whatever, but no, like that's why I make videos about the light novels on my channel for people who want to, you know, prefer to watch the content in the video. So yeah, this is why I make videos on it. That's why I'm talking about it now. Oh yeah, the manga's doing a better job. Yeah, the manga is great. Yeah, if you don't want to read the novels, then the manga's doing a great job with the Index 3 arcs. So if you maybe prefer reading in a manga format, I highly recommend reading the Index 3 arcs in the Index manga. Highly recommend. The art is absolutely stunning, by the way. It's probably better than the light novel art. But yeah. Index 3 really was a disappointing adaptation. Oh, the manga does a better job. Yeah, no, the manga's sick. Like, I literally just saw like some of the manga scans from World War 3, like Accelerator and World War 3, and it looks absolutely sick. It looks absolutely sick. Stand proud, you're strong, Aeon. Oh, thank you. I tried to be. Intense fan service fans from scenes from season 2, but Railgun seems better in terms of characters and storyline. Comparing in terms of anime, yeah, well, yeah, in the anime, I understand why you have that perspective. I totally do, because the Scissors arc in the anime just has way better direction. It has way better presentation than anything in Index. Railgun T, again, Nagai nailed the direction and the presentation massively. The characters are great. The animation's great. Just that Index doesn't have that luxury. We just didn't have a good director. We didn't have enough episodes. It's hard to adapt a light novel. But like I will make a video on like comparing Index to Railgun. But if you just look like Index, I mean I'll explain it better there. But like I've read all the Railgun manga, and it's like Index has a continuous narrative. It doesn't seem like it at first, but it has a continuous narrative where has a continuous story, a progressing story. But Railgun's story, it does have a progressing story in the anime, because you get Kihara Gensei as a recurring villain, and you see, yeah, he obviously gets defeated in the ASCII arc. But then after that, it's just a bit of a jumble. And I don't want to like spoil your expectations for season 4, because you know the arcs in season 4 will be good to some extent, but there isn't the continuous plot line. You get the progression, if you understand what I'm trying to say, because with a story you get a beginning, middle, and end. But the way Railgun ends off, it's like doesn't really have a solid beginning, middle, and end. It just feels a bit jumbly. Feels a bit like a jumble. While for Index, Kamachi has actually said in an interview, which is like the first time he's ever discussed the ending of Index ever, which is really surprising. But the series is getting on, so I appreciate that he's talking about the ending of Index, because we've literally had no information whatsoever about how Index will end. And he said he has, like, if he got the chance to do, because Index was meant to be one shot, it was meant to be one volume and that was done. But if it was successful enough, then Kamachi was willing to continue the story. And it turned out to be so successful that it's turned into this. crazy series going on for 20 years. But he said that he's planned. He's always known how Index would end since the beginning. Like if he got the chance to continue it. It's just that the middle of it, you know, he's filling out the gaps to get to the ending, which is good. So we know that Index will have a solid beginning, middle, and end, and I trust Kamachi will do that. I trust in Kamachi. But yeah. But like the reason why I rant about like the Index, like the Tsuruo anime, because literally, I kid you not, you look at me now and you see this crazy light novel fan, but listen, I started with the Index anime as well. I started with the Railgun anime. I started off watching both, and I wasn't the biggest fan of Tsuruo. I did not enjoy Index or Railgun that much. I enjoyed Railgun S, yes. Railgun S was good. I enjoyed parts of Index Season 1 and Season 2, but those were the Accelerator arcs. I only enjoyed them. I didn't really like the Magic Side arcs, didn't really like Terma that much. Because, literally, I was in your position. I was literally the fucking same. What you're feeling right now is probably what I was feeling. Or something similar. I was literally feeling the same. I was in your shoes. I only really cared about Accelerator, and the only reason why I started the Index light novel is because I got told, oh, Accelerator gets, you know, angel wings. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. I'll read it. I might as well stop in the beginning. I don't want to just like read, you know, the arc where he gets that. So yeah, whatever. I'll start from the beginning. Let's start Index. You know, I went in with the lowest expectations for Index. I was like, yeah, I'll read OT2, OT1, just to get to OT3, whatever. I started Index with the lowest expectations. And look at me now. Look at how much I'm ranting about this shit. I'm fucking obsessed. I've literally got a fucking Tsuruo shrine behind me. I've got an entire anime YouTube channel that I dedicated 6 years of my life making videos for. I literally became fucking obsessed. And even before I started making videos on the channel, I was literally on multiple social media making vlogs about it just for fun. Just because I wanted to talk with other people about Tsuruo. That's how good the light novels are. That's how good Old Testament was, that it made me do this shit. It just turned me fucking crazy. Even my friends must think like, what? Like Aeon. Obviously they don't call me Aeon, but they're like, Aeon, what? You're taking this Tsuruo stuff too far. Like I literally tried to get my friends into it. I got my friends to watch the anime, tried to get onto the novels, but the novels are such a big commitment that it's hard to get them onto that. And obviously not everyone reads. But yeah. Literally, the light novels changed my life. Tsuruo audiobooks. Oh my god, kind of the same with me. Yeah. Same, I had to force my way through Index Season 1. Did not enjoy it until we got the Accelerator part. Yeah. See? You know, we all... Well, a lot of us think the same. And I know there's some people who... to be fair, as I'm rewatching the Index anime for the child members, I'm enjoying the anime more because I understand what's happening. I understand the thematic depth to the characters. Even though there's certain dramatic scenes aren't directed and presented in a way that I feel like emphasizes their importance or adds that dramatic weight and value you would get in Railgun Season 2. Despite that, I'm enjoying it because I am like, I understand Styles' character, I understand Kanzaki's character, I understand how Terma feels in this situation, I understand how Index feels, I understand how these characters interact. I understand the overall themes better, so I'm able to watch it and be like, yeah, maybe that was the purpose of the anime. Maybe that was the purpose to give. Maybe that's why Kamachi enjoyed like Season 1 of the anime so much, because I think Kamachi did enjoy Season 1. I think because he saw it and was like, yeah, I know these characters, but he already had that understanding of the characters in his head, but maybe he didn't think how would a new viewer perceive this as someone not familiar with style or Kanzaki or Toma. But yeah, I don't know. Now I want to read light novels so bad. Yeah, you should. I mean, obviously I upload videos about it. But yeah, the manga skips the second volume and the fourth volume of the light novel, but overall it's a better adaptation of the anime. Or the light novel, I should say. So maybe give the manga a chance. The art, I will say this: the art of the manga, like when you start with chapter 1, it's not great. But once you get to like the season 2 arcs, Chuya, the mangaka, his art just transcends. His art just improves like so much. He just becomes a god for some reason. It's like, wow, how can you start off like so rough with the art initially, and then it goes like to just, holy fuck, this is amazing. Which is why like the index 3 arcs are so great in the manga. To be honest, I was hooked from the first episode of Index. That's fair enough. I mean, when I watched the first episode of Index, I think I was like mildly interested. I was interested in like I mean the Toma stuff. Like, you're still getting like the new characters, but I guess I think I thought style looked cool. I think everyone watching Index season 1, like the first episode, I think they get towards the end and they see style and he looks cool. I wonder what they're going to do with him. But yeah. I love Index. She's the absolute cutest. Yeah, I mean, she's cute, but there are like, that's part of her, but there is a lot more to Index's character than meets the eye. I need to remake my video I did about like Index's character, because Index's character, super underrated. Obviously, like, post Old Testament, her character doesn't really develop much at all. She's just support, but Index's character is really good. Like, I like the purpose of a character. Even though, yes, it's easy to say, oh, yeah, the series is called Certain Magical Index, and yeah, Index isn't that important. Yes. Even I make joke about that at times, but Index is the one who introduces Toma to magic. She introduces him to that part of the world. It's Toma's on the science side, she's on the magic side, so this is that's how Toma gets involved with all this, so that's why it's called Index. Well, the whole situation with her, she literally doesn't have a human name. She's literally called the Library of Prohibited Books. Imagine how sad that is. Imagine literally just being treated as an object by the church. Imagine having your humanity stripped from you, and yet you're such an innocent, kind person. You're just a young girl, and yet you're just treated like like a slave to the church, just to absorb toxic books to be used as a weapon. And the people who try and humanize her, they're forced to have their bonds like broken apart by Laura Stewart. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason why Laura Stewart breaks down the bonds between Style, Kanzaki, and Index. And then they are literally indoctrinated to treat her the same. You have to erase her memory. You have to move on from your past with her. You're not allowed to be friends with her anymore. Your job now is to strip yourselves of emotion and be her guardian, and then do the same task every year to remove her memories. You need to treat her like the library. Then you get Toma. Toma offers a shed of light. Toma tries to humanize her, but Style and Kanzaki see his efforts and they think he's naive. Trying to be friends with Index. We were once in your shoes. You don't know anything about Index. You don't know about memory loss. You've got no idea. This is how the way things should be. There's no way to help Index. This is don't know anything about the magic side. You know anything about grimoires? What can you possibly know? You're from the science side. But Terma despairs, but he doesn't give up. He uses knowledge outside the church. He uses the knowledge of the science side. He uses, goes beyond the ignorance of Stalin and Kanzaki. Stalin and Kanzaki appear as the mature ones. They appear as the realists. They accept fate for what it is now, because they've just been tasked to do this. But Terma is the idealist. He's got the childlike idealism in him, and that's what saves the day. Information beyond what they've been told, that they've been indoctrinated to believe. It has so many meanings. And then Terma is the one to finally, by trying to save her, Index becomes the library. She becomes the robotic John's pen mode. She becomes the manifestation of the library. She becomes literally like a demon-like entity. But Terma saves her, preserves her humanity, but as a consequence, he is the one who loses his memories in return. I need to make a video on OT1. I need to say all this in that OT1 review. But that's just an example. Like, how many of you watched the first arc of Index and understood these themes from that? Obviously, this is my interpretation of things. Like, obviously, these are themes which you can see from it. Everyone's got different interpretation of art. You can interpret different things. You can draw different themes from it yourself. But that's how I saw it when I first read the first volume of Index for the first time, and I was like, oh my god, this is brilliant. But also it didn't come to me straight away either. Like, it's the more I think about Index, the more I imagine Index, like, the more I think about these characters, the more I understand it, and I think you get more thematic depth from that. I did not like Index that much in the anime adaptation. She often did bite Terma. Yeah, no. Those scenes definitely stand out more in the anime. They're still there in the novel, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. When I reread a bit of OT1, Index just comes across like more pleasant to me. She comes across more, I don't know if mature is the right word, because she has an immature side to her, but when she's explaining magic and shit to Terma in the light novel, and she's just going over things when she's not like biting him, like, she just comes across more proper. She doesn't come across as annoying. She feels more like a guide to a different world. I feel like that's the best way I can explain it. She feels more like a guide. She's guiding Terma to the world of magic in a way. You should do a series reviewing all the super impactful OT volumes. Probably should. It's been like years since I've read some of those volumes though, but I might have to reread a few of them. But for OT1, I can talk about OT1 for days. I can talk about OT1 for days. And obviously, like, sometimes I don't need to reread the volumes because, like, I understand the core themes. Obviously, there might be little details I might forget, but that's only if you want to focus on the details, right? I think it's more important to focus on, like, the characters, the themes, what Kamachi's trying to do here, rather than, oh, this was a cool detail that's not in the novel, or not in the anime, sorry. Well, no, that's good. Like, that's more relevant for, like, Angel Fall and Deep Blood. And yes, this became a chat about Index instead of Railgun. Of course. Of course. I really hope Chuya does New Testament manga. That'd be good. Was it special we let Nogi draw New Testament 11? Hell yeah. What's your opinion on Kiyoshi Kesai? She's whatever. I don't really have a strong opinion about her. She was stuck between choosing between her sister, who's not blood related, who both adopted, and Misaka. Yeah, I mean, she was okay. I understood her character well. I understand why she felt conflicted. I would have liked. I mean, I'll talk about that in my first year arc review. I would have liked a bit more on. I would have liked a lot more information on her family. I feel like the adoptive family she was from. I forgot the name of the family. I've got it written down somewhere. But that family, it was really integral to the plot. But I feel like they weren't explained that well. They weren't given enough detail. It just seems like, why the hell are they going this far to get a daughter on to get a daughter as Majesty as a clique leader? It just, I get that they become like, if you're Majesty, then you're guaranteed like a place on the governing board of Academy City. Yeah, I get that, but why is that important to them? And yeah, she's doing it mainly because of the sister, which I won't spoil who it is, but yeah, I know, I get the conflicts where it just seemed like, yeah, she feels guilty. She obviously takes things too far. Yeah, there's not much else to say really, I don't think, about her. But yeah, her family are just like, why is it that important to them? Is it because they want to get a daughter on the governing board? But surely there are easier ways to do it than that. Like they're all relying on the adopted sisters or daughters to get good Esper powers, unless they adopt them when they know they got good Esper powers to get into Tokiwadai. It seems a bit far fetched. I don't know. Just seems a bit too much, doesn't it? That they're trying like this hard. They're like, yeah, we'll adopt this many daughters. Like, hope they get. Well, no, I think they did say like didn't like the first batch of daughters. Didn't they say like only one of them was good enough to get into Tokiwadai, and the rest were like powerless or something? I think that was it. I'll reread it. Obviously, I've got the scan saved. But yeah, so they didn't adopt him when they were like high level. They were like hoping they would. It's like it just seems like really far fetched, because it's like, what a likelihood of you getting a daughter child error who happens to be, a high level Esper. Yeah, it just seems really far fetched plot to get. Like, I just think if you're that rich of a family and that influential, then surely you could like fucking buy your way to get on the board of directors. I mean, we can gather that from like fucking the latest volume of the Item light novel, where there's this guy who's literally super rich, and he's like, yeah, I'm technically the 13th board of director member, and I'm because I'm that influential, I'm that rich. I was like, well, okay, surely you can get onto it that way. And then once they do graduate from Tokiwadai, it's like, oh, now you literally got to wait like, what? They're not gonna let like a. Oh well, I don't want to go into the GT spoilers, but I was about to say, surely not going to let like a Tokiwadai graduate who's like 15 onto the board of directors. But I remembered who became the board chairman. But that was different circumstances. But you get the point, like. Are they then going to wait for them to like mature and then go through university to then get on the board of directors? Like, oh, I don't know. Is that a goal, or am I misunderstanding that family's goal? You tell me. Do you know Noragami used to be very famous? Yeah, I watched Noragami season 1 and 2 years ago because I'm an OG. It was decent. How can you even remember all the names of all Toaru characters? Trust me, I can't remember everyone's name. There's that thing is with Item and Railgun, and like they introduce like so many like random ass characters that appear hardly who have like names, like all the different clique girls. Like I can't remember any of their names at all. But I remember like obviously like I probably know like most of the characters in Index that I can name. I can name, yeah. I can probably give like most of the Index characters names like a go, but there's characters that don't even like have an illustration who appear as well. So there's that like one girl who's in like the fucking satellite above Academy City, not Tree Diagram, but the other one. I always forget her name. She's like a random like she's such an obscure like random character that appears like every now and then. But oh fuck yeah, I can't remember her name. There's characters like that where you're just like, wow. Yeah. But yeah, I think I've ranted about Toaru enough. I'll probably call it a day. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the stream, even though I talked about Index towards the end. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.